on, guys? My name is Petra. I am gonna be here to show you guys today how to make some banana hemp muffins. They are on like the healthy side. However, there is a little bit of sugar in them, but you can substitute. Anyway, we'll go through that in a bit. I just want to say a big shout out to Black Eatery. They are doing some awesome things with the Black community and just empowering and letting everyone know what Black owned businesses we can all support, and I think that's just awesome. So if you have a chance, make sure you go and follow them if you're not already. And yeah, let's get started. So the first thing I've already done is I've preheated my oven to 375 degrees. These are gonna bake at that temperature, so we'll set that and then we'll go ahead and mix some ingredients. For muffin liners, you guys can obviously use the regular muffin liners. I like to use these silicone muffin liners because we do make quite a bit of muffins. So rather than just wasting muffin liners, these are just easy to pop in and they are washable and reusable, and they're awesome. They don't really, nothing really sticks to them, so that is great. I'm just gonna put those in and move those to the side. This is a super easy recipe. My husband loves them. Like, I'll make a dozen and they never last the entire day. They're super easy to eat. It's almost like breakfast on the go, like pre-made oatmeal on the go. So they're just super great to have. You can freeze them if you want. You can double the recipe if you want. We like to add chocolate chips in ours. You definitely don't have to. They are amazing with blueberries as well. So let me just quickly go through the list of ingredients, what you need. You'll need some flour. For this recipe, I'm gonna use actually oat flour. So I'm gonna use some quick cook oats. I'm gonna blend them up, and that right there is gonna be our flour. The reason I like to use oats is because A, they are gluten-free, especially if you get a certified gluten-free oatmeal, and then they also have fiber. So, however, having said that, you can use whichever flour you want. If you want to use 2 cups of all-purpose baking flour, perfect. If you want to use 1 cup of oats, 1 cup of regular flour, perfect. I love using 2 cups of oats, and I'll grind that into an oat flour. We're going to need, we are going to need a little bit of salt too, but we're going to need baking powder, baking soda. We are going to need hemp hearts. So these are hemp seeds. I guess you don't really have to use them, but I really like the texture of them. They have added protein, added healthy fats, added nutrients is great there. I like to add flaxseed meal. So this is ground up flaxseed, just again for more fiber, because we really truly don't get enough in our entire day. So that's that. And then we add, well, I add some sugar. I only have half a cup in the whole recipe, so it's not too much. Having said that, I have used pure maple syrup. I have used, what else? Honey in this recipe. It does change the texture a little bit, so just understand that going into that. But if you guys are kind of trying to cut down on refined sugar, definitely use a substitute. You can probably use like stevia and Splenda if you want to just double check that, like half a cup of sugar would not be half a cup of Splenda, I believe, so double check that. We're going to use some ripe bananas. The riper the better, so I know these are all bruised up, but there's always a purpose. So I use 2 to 3. These are tiny ones, so I'm going to use 3 of them. If you have larger ones, then just go ahead and use 2. You can also like freeze them, and if they're tossed in your freezer, just go ahead and take them out. We're going to use coconut oil, and actually we're going to use an egg as well. Let me just grab my eggs. So we're going to use 1 egg too, okay? First things first, let's go ahead and measure out our dry ingredients. So, again, like I mentioned, we're going to use 2 cups of oats for the flour. If you guys have a blender, perfect. I like to use my NutriBullet, so I'm just going to measure 2 cups of quick cook oats right in there. If stuff falls all over it, it's all good. I'm gonna go ahead and blend this. All right, so you can see just by blending the flour, the oats, they've turned into like a nice flour consistency, which is what we want. We're gonna use this blender in a second as well. So just put it to the side. Okay, so to my flour, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of hemp seeds. I do refrigerate my hemp seeds. So they recommend that you refrigerate nuts and seeds because they are higher in fat, and actually the fat can go rancid. So if you kind of smell like a funny smell with your nuts or with your seeds, they're probably not good. So if you'd like, just go ahead and refrigerate those. I'm gonna add a tablespoon of flaxseed meal. So just getting that healthy flax into the batter because we won't be able to taste it, so that's great. And then let me go ahead with the sugars. So I'm gonna add 1/2 cup. So not a cup and a half, just a half of a cup of sugar, granulated sugar. This is a 1/4 cup, so I'm just gonna add 2 of these. I always like to minimize the amount of dishes that have to be done. And then we are going to, I'm gonna grab my 1/2 teaspoon here. So we're gonna add 1½ teaspoons of baking powder. Again, I just minimize the things. So we go, there's 1/2, there's 1, there's 1½. And then we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of baking soda. These are really simple, you guys, which is great. And they only bake for 17 minutes, 15 to 17 minutes, so that's like a win. Okay, there is 1 teaspoon of baking soda. I have to grab the salt. We're gonna add 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt. That's that. So just mix your dry ingredients and then set them to the side. Doesn't look like much now, but it will be. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, I really like the texture that hemp seeds provide. And they're really good for you. They're one of those like superfoods, along with chias, flax, and I guess, you know, you could probably add whatever else you wanted to in here if you wanted to add like chia seed. Chia, be careful with, because sometimes the texture does change with chia. It sort of gets gelatinous at some point. So just be mindful of that. Okay, next up, it does call for 1/3 of a cup of oil. I prefer to use coconut oil, especially in sweet dishes, because it's just like amazing. You can use it on so many different things, but I really like using coconut oil. You could totally use vegetable oil or, you know, whatever oil you have like lying around the house. I'm going to peel my bananas and just toss them in this little blender here. This is supposed to be the proper way. Okay, next up, we're going to add 1/3 of a cup of oil. Again, this is coconut oil. It's really hot here right now, 34 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but I know that's not hot for many places, but for us, it's like hot. So we'll just measure 1/3 of a cup of oil and add that in to the bananas. And then just grab 1 egg, add that in as well. So this is a mostly vegan recipe other than the egg. Again, with substitutions, if you want to go ahead and substitute like a flax egg or something like that, go ahead and do that. I actually haven't tried that, so I'm not sure how that works. I've heard from other people that the texture can sometimes work and sometimes not. Maybe that'll be my next mission to go ahead, but it does just call for 1 egg. I usually try not to eat eggs. I'm just super sensitive to them, but once in a while I'm like, you know what, it's like a fraction of an egg in the whole recipe, so that's all good. I'm gonna blend this up. So I just blended this. What you can do if you don't have a blender and you're not using a blender, that's totally fine. You can go ahead and mash up the bananas in a separate bowl and add the oil, add the egg, and just mash it up like that. Mash it up. Go ahead and take your wet mixture, whether it's in a bowl or whether it's in your blender, and add it to the dry. Like so. Give it a good mix. Like I said, oftentimes what I will do is like split the batter in half. So half of the batter I'll do with like chocolate chips, and the other half I'll do with blueberries. But my husband really likes chocolate chips, especially with bananas or banana bread type of batters. So I'm just gonna add chocolate chips in this entire recipe. So mix it up really good, and you'll start to kind of notice that if you are using oat flour, it starts to kind of, that's my oven. So it's actually perfect timing, which is really nice, but you'll start to notice that the batter starts to like cook in a way if you're using oats. So for measuring, I usually just toss in a handful, but I'm gonna go ahead and toss in a half a cup of, these are semi-sweet chocolate chips. I really like this chocolate. Alternatively, you could always just eyeball it or omit, or even just place them in each individual cup if you are very particular. Perfect. Okay, how easy was that, right? Seriously, it's so easy. My hands are washed. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna set this to the side for now. I'm gonna go grab an ice cream scoop or a batter scoop. If you just have a spoon, that's totally fine. Grab that. All right. So I have my muffin liners. And I have my batter here. You guys can see it's like kind of frothed up quite a bit. So I just take an ice cream scoop. This is the largest one. And I go ahead and scoop them into the muffin liner so that they are about 3/4 full. Try to do it as even as you can, because you can always go back and add. But these don't take long. Seriously, I make these at least once a week. And the thing is, like, we always go and get bananas, and then, you know, if we just don't eat the bananas right away, we always end up with ripe bananas somehow. And so I'm like, okay, perfect. I'll just turn them into muffins, you know, and then that way it's like breakfast on the go, snack on the go. For toddlers as well, if you want to do that, you totally can. It's a great option. I'm just gonna scrape the bowl here, get the last little bit. These are like 12 perfect little muffins, okay? That's okay. So you guys can see there, they are nice and full. Give them a good little shake, like that. I'm gonna pop these into the oven for, my oven's a little, it really depends on your oven. So it's 15 to 17 minutes. I find mine is a little underdone at 15, so I put mine in for 17 minutes at 375 degrees. If you have an oven that's super hot, that runs hotter, maybe try 15 and go from there, just double check. But pop them in for 17 minutes, and while they're baking, do all your cleaning, and I'll see you guys in 17. All right, so 17 minutes has come and gone. We have our gorgeous muffins here. Picture perfect. Fun for the whole fam.